Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you're here, it means you made it through all 10 modules on vendor lock-in, which is awesome. This is it, the grand finale. We're going to pull everything together and make sure all that amazing knowledge you've gained really sticks. Let's dive in.
Seriously, a huge congratulations to you. You've put in the time and effort to get your head around a super important topic, especially if you're involved in tech decisions. You can think of this review as your victory lap, right? A quick flyover to admire the new territory you've just conquered.
Okay, so before we jump in, we've got to do the important legal stuff. This review covers our 10-module overview on researching the lock-in potential of a software vendor. It's based on some really comprehensive research from Virtualization Options LLC. Now remember, this is all about general principles. It comes with no warranty, and it's definitely not legal advice. So what does that mean for you? It means you should always work with competent legal counsel who knows the laws in your area. All right, with that covered, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look back at those hidden traps. Then, we'll go over your new due diligence playbook. And we'll wrap it all up by cementing that ultimate strategy for keeping your tech freedom. All right, part 1, reviewing the hidden traps. Let's start from the top. This is all about remembering what the problem is in the first place. Looking at those sneaky traps that can turn what feels like a great partnership into a really expensive headache. So remember Module 1? That's where we set the stage. We figured out that vendor lock-in is way more than just a minor annoyance. It's a massive strategic risk. It's that moment when the cost and the sheer pain of switching gets so high that you're just stuck. And what happens then? Well, you lose all your leverage, your flexibility goes out the window, and pretty soon you can't even innovate anymore. And then came Module 2, which hit on the absolute heart of the matter, your data. I mean, it's your most valuable asset, right? The sneaky part is that a vendor can lock you in with proprietary data formats. The contract might look fine, but if you can't actually get your data out in a way you can use, it's game over. Your data is basically held hostage in their system. Module 3 showed us that the trap gets even bigger. It's not just about data. Think about all those proprietary APIs and special integrations. They weave this incredibly complex technical web that spreads all throughout your systems. Getting out isn't just a simple switch. No way. It's a full-blown, massive re-engineering project because that vendor is now part of your company's DNA. Okay, so after all the tech stuff, Module 4 brought us to the contracts, and this was a huge one. The big lesson here, it doesn't matter if you can technically leave if you're not allowed to. The contract is where the vendor lock-in gets its legal bite. We're talking about insane exit fees and super restrictive terms that make switching financially impossible. That's why we hammered home the idea of negotiating your leaveability right from the very start. Okay, part 2, reviewing your due diligence playbook. So we've seen the traps, now for the fun part, the part where you get to fight back. We're going to go over the practical, actionable playbook you now have to make sure you stay in the driver's seat. This right here from Module 5 is your secret weapon. It's a simple but incredibly powerful 5-step methodology. Think of it as your step-by-step guide for evaluating any vendor. It covers everything from the nitty-gritty technical details to the contracts and even reminds you to keep an eye on things over time. This is your playbook. Module 6 was all about getting your hands dirty with the right tools. We're talking checklists and cost calculators. Why are they so important? Because they help you take a vague feeling of risk and turn it into cold, hard numbers. And when you're trying to convince your boss or the board, numbers speak louder than words. Now, modules 7, 8, and 9 were packed with tons of questions you can ask. But listen, if you only remember 3, make it these 3. They get right to the point. The first is about your data. The second is about their APIs. And the third is about the contract. Honestly, if a vendor gets cagey or can't give you a straight answer on these, you should see a giant red flag waving. Okay, let's bring it all home. Conclusion: mastering your technological future. We've looked at the dangers, we've reviewed your playbook. Now, let's talk about the big picture strategy that puts you in charge of your tech destiny. And here it is, the big takeaway from Module 10. You could almost say this is the golden rule for the entire series. What's the number one most effective way to avoid getting trapped? It's prioritizing open standards and open formats. Period. That's the foundation. It's what gives you genuine freedom to move and adapt down the road. I absolutely love this quote, and I hope you do too. The best time to negotiate your exit is before you enter. Let that sink in. This should be your mantra for every single vendor conversation you have from now on. It's all about planning for the end at the very beginning. So that's a wrap. One final congratulations on making it all the way through. You're not just leaving with a bunch of facts, you're leaving with a genuine strategic advantage. You now have the power to ask smarter questions and to protect your organization. So I'll leave you with this to think about. With all this new knowledge, what's the very first question you're going to ask the next time you're evaluating a vendor? Thanks so much for joining me on this journey.